Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, champions of the realm. My name is Rainday. Let's get in to this next round, getting closer to the finals. We are, as we've got Team Ronin versus Team Zenith Black. Now, on the side of Team Ronin, we've got Aeido going in on the Kinessa, Bolture onto the Fernando, Swordcraft onto the Pip, Shindu on the Ruckus, and DatOneGoat onto Barrack. Whereas on Team Zenith Black, we've got Mike Man onto the Barrack, wizdude onto Ruckus, Graham onto the Fernando, Reviling onto the Pip, and SnakeySnake onto Eevee. As I introduce my co-commentator for this match, Tattle.
Well, hello there. I don't actually think we've been casting together, so this is going to be interesting to see. But as well as that, interesting. Kinessa pick. We literally never see Kinessa on this map. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, you know what? Well, we saw Sentry playing a lot of Kinessa last attempt in last week, trying to make it through to the finals, but it didn't end up working for them. First blood, however, going to Bolture. Mike Man getting taken down. SnakeySnake, however, answering with a kill onto Shindu. So it is 1-1 on both sides of these teams. A strong flank, however, coming out from the side of, it looks like Zenith Black. And now Bolture, however, on Team Ronin is still holding down the point. I mean, this is looking really good for Team Ronin, I would think, right now. Tattle?
It's looking good for Ronin, but they push up way too aggressive on the side. You saw DatOneGoat go down, and then they just push up with their numbers advantage. And Zenith Black starting to take the lead on this one. SnakeySnake, he takes a double kill, and they're starting to get point control.
Yeah, and it looks like the point control has reversed onto Team Zenith Black. Maybe it's the fact that they're coming off a very competitive series, that they just know how to contest these points in really equally matched teams. And now Mike Man, however, getting taken down by DatOneGoat. The advantage turning slowly but surely back towards Team Ronin now, and only one is left. And now Graham goes down as well, switching off from the Androxus last match onto the Fernando, but doesn't seem to be working out for him as well as that Androxus was. No quadra kills this time.
No quadra kills indeed, but they seem to be returning the kills once again. Reviling and SnakeySnake picking up DatOneGoat and Swordcraft as they try and go aggressive for a zone, but it's not worked out for them. 85 points left as the rest of Zenith Black try to get onto the point to contest this one. Shindu goes down to Mikeman. They're trying to pick up Bolture on the point who's contesting. Kinessa just about makes it out of there. Aeido trying to do what he can. Does manage to snipe out SnakeySnakes in the balcony. A good 1v1 for the point fight. Now going either way.
Yeah, it really is. And right now, however, it could be Zenith Black who end up winning this. They've got more members on the point. It's 95, it's 99, and Zenith Black takes the first point in this incredibly well-timed, well-balanced initial team fight. We saw a lot of back and forth, maybe two on each side. That was pretty impressive, Tattle. What do you think both teams need to do here to basically take the advantage in this next portion of this game, which is the payload push and the payload defense?
It's all about getting control of these choke points and the high ground especially. You see right now, Ronin, they have Bolture and of course Swordcraft. They've got them up on the high ground as well as Aeido on this Kinessa, who's going to try and set up, get those long range of sights and try and zone the side of Zenith Black away. As I say that, Mike Man gets sniped down, so already doing some work with this Kinessa. But the payload is still gaining some ground as Immortal gets popped, so that's going to allow them to gain quite a bit. Runs out and they have to back off, however. The pressure from the high ground is just too great right now.
Yeah, and that high ground, especially for Kinessa, is going to be super important as Eevee looks to blink in, actually, onto the Kinessa. SnakeySnake getting out of there, however, because it's just not enough with the additional pressure coming out from help from the teammates to keep Kinessa alive. And Aeido is going to be wanting to stay on that high ground, right at that bridge. We see a lot, Tattle. We see that Kinessa staying onto that bridge right above, essentially, the base and just firing along the channels that people are going to come through. Those easy pass and just being so effective.
Great line of sight, but the only issue is if you get an Eevee like SnakeySnake who comes around the side, goes in through the back door, you're gonna have her flanking behind you. Aeido has got to be careful of that. As well as this, I find sniping down this area especially difficult. If you can get it just right, it's great, but there is so much tree foliage in the way, all of those branches, the leaves blocking your actual vision. So props to Aeido, who's actually making this work.
Double kill.
He picks up a double kill.
Look at that. I mean, that's impressive. We're talking about the difficulties in doing it, and he goes ahead and gets a double kill. Mean discussion. So apparently Aeido feeling very comfortable. Like you said, Knessa, not necessarily the typical pick on this map, but we're still seeing it, and we're seeing it work quite well for Aeido here, who feels very comfortable on this champion at this point. So from what we've seen, Evie doing her best to go to the back line. Blinks has to get back out of there with a wormhole, but it doesn't matter. Shindu goes ahead and takes her down, and this could be a successful defense. It's looking like it's going to be one for Team Zenith Ronin, I believe.
Ronin going to make the defense work here. Bolture and DatOneGoat still back onto the payload. Aeido and the rest of the team starting to clean up. They'll get the kills they need to, and Graham will be the last one to fall as overtime ticks over. And this right here, this is really where Knessa shines on this map, this defense. The only issue is she just doesn't have the time to set up all the long-range sort of distance on the points to use those line of sights when it comes to the point fights.
Exactly.
So it's going to be interesting to see. It's kind of an odd strategy to me because you're putting a character in who excels on the defense and possibly on the attack as well, but if you're not winning those point fights, it doesn't really matter at that point.
Right. I mean, you've got 2 points being won on every point fight, so you have to somehow win. And I think what they're hoping for is knowing that, hey, we're going to have the successful defense. We are going to be able to win a lot of these long-range engagements if we can set up Aeido in a good spot. We just need to make sure we win 1, maybe 2 of these capture points, get the advantage, and then ride this thing out. And that is, I think, what they're attempting to do. I think Knessa can be very valuable on the payload push, but again, on this capture point, we're going to have to see Aeido pull out some really nice plays, and I'm going to be interested to look at the positioning, and look at that, Tattle. The positioning is dead. Graham takes her out.
Aeido got into probably the only place where he could be useful during this fight in that balcony. Actually, to say that, the Hexafire Immortal comes out. wizdude picks up a double kill. Bolture does shot him down. There goes the Immortal on the other side from Bolture, keeping the rest of his team alive, keeping DatOneGoat up, but it's not for much longer as he goes down. And actually, Zenith Black, despite it's Zenith Black taking it down over Ronin after that drop on the Knessa.
Smart plays by Zenith Black, you know, just being able to get there. The Fernando used his Immortal a little early on the side of Zenith Black. You saw Graham use it quite initially before really any of his team members were around, but it's enough. It's enough to basically say, we're not going to shoot at the Fernando. We're going to give him that extra bit of time, give his teammates that extra bit of momentum to come and swing back to support the points while they've got now 5, 7, 10 more points on the capture point, and sometimes that just adds pressure. You know what I mean, Tattle? It's like the fact that, okay, it was at 20, but now wait, it's at 45. Okay, we really need to get onto this, right?
It's the slowly ticking doomsday clock, right? You know that at some point you're going to have to get on that point. Even if you don't have an advantage, if you're waiting for that moment, that one golden chance to get on the point, you know, sure, you can wait it out, try and find that moment, but if it doesn't come, you've got to commit at some point, otherwise you're going to lose it anyway.
Right, and that causes staggers, that causes people to kind of jump out of position to say, you know what, screw the team plan, I'm going to jump on the point, because otherwise, if I don't, we're just going to lose, and that eventually usually ends up in some staggered wipes, and that is pretty much the hardest way to regain point pressure again with, you know, one-on-one on, you know, 5, basically. So, really nice Hexafire, however, coming out from wizdude, taking down Swordcraft, and letting this payload push that much harder. DatOneGoat has a little bit of a shield after rocket boots, but he goes down to wizdude as well. wizdude doing incredible things right now, although getting taken out.
Hexafire, though, Shindu returns it. He gets a double kill of his own and puts a halt to this, but the payload, though, that's still pushing in. Swordcraft's the only one to go in, but the Mega Turret gets popped. That's going to force him away. DatOneGoat tries to go in. The barricade will keep him alive for a bit longer. Bolture makes it back just in time. Aeido trying to rain down shots from above, but the barricade in close range is not going to help him out on this one. Shindu finds the first kill, however. It looks like they're going to make this defense, but look how close it is with 40 seconds remaining.
So close, but you know what? I don't mind this. This is actually a very dangerous place. This is a good place to defend, in my experience, seeing the competitive level play, because it's you get this extreme vantage point over the people who are pushing, because if they want to fire on you, they've got to fire up at this really awkward angle to people onto the bridge, and it allows people to on the bridge to basically burst the people pushing the payload down a little bit more effectively without taking the return crossfire. So it could be a nice place. There's only 12 seconds left though, and it could be anybody's game here.
It definitely works out, especially when you've got this Knessa, but Aeido, he's getting forced out once more by this Evie as SnakeySnake goes in. There's the Immortal from Graham on the payload. That'll keep his teammates alive, but doesn't last for enough.
And Swordcraft, yeah.
Picks up this one as the rest of the team drop, and it looks like another defense will be coming through from the side of Ronin.
Yeah, SnakeySnake did the right thing. SnakeySnake got up onto the bridge, tried to disrupt Swordcraft, who was basically just shooting down, like I was mentioning, onto the payload where, you know, the team members from Team Zenith Black have to be if they want to push that in, and essentially just wailing on them. And so it was really, really nice to see. Actually, that might have been Swordcraft. Yeah, that was Swordcraft. So SnakeySnake tries to get Swordcraft off that basically just damage pumping area, but he ends up going down too quickly. But it was a nice idea. I think that's how you have to deal with that type of defense. You have to just blink up, get rid of their their defenders from that vantage point.
And
that's the beneficial of EV.
So interested in this next point. We saw mines, we saw waterfall, and Kness just not really able to set up on either of them really well. Igloo, however, the line of sights here are great for a Knessa. You have to go so deep if you want to dive onto her that we won't see any of those issues we saw before with the Eevee is actually the advantage. Now is starting to go in Ronin's favor for once at the start of this fight. Shindu picks up 1 kill. Mega Turret popped on the point, but that's going to be wasted out. And look at that. SnakeySnake goes deep for Aeido, but the rest of the team, they fall back fast enough, force him out, and Ronin still finding the kills they need.
And hold on now, Shindu was on a 9 streak there, was unstoppable, but Graham takes him down as well. Aeido taking down Reviling, however, finding a nice vantage point to still somehow be affecting this game and not be taken out yet. But now Aeido does go down by wizdude, and the advantage is Zenith Black at the moment on this capture point. Bolture trying to hold himself there. A nice freeze there by Eevee, taking him down. SnakeySnake says goodbye Fernando, sends him back to base, and now it is Team Zenith Black who have the opportunity to continue and potentially capture this point unless Ronin have something to say about it.
Just seems really off right now with how Ronin are playing with the use of their ultimates, I feel. They just feel really... like, the communication is just not there. We saw the Immortal popped a second ago just to tank the Hexafire, but really wasn't necessary. He could have just waited around the corner. Feels like the communication wasn't made that there was a Hexafire going on. And then we see the chicken come out, but everyone's already dead at that point, so the ultimate basically just wasted there. And Ronin just not coordinating their ultimates as they really should be.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we saw Ronin put on such a strong performance in this last weekend, and even this early game in the tournament. But now Zenith Black just looking like a very superior team in this point capture. I don't know if it's because they went against Identity Crisis, who were so strong on capturing these points, and yet lacked the defense that they needed or lacked the push potential they needed, that they've just got a little bit more pressure. I mean, a little bit more coordination and how to deal with a very strong point capture team. I don't know. You know, you're saying it's the ultimates. Could there be a potential factor in burn cards here that we're not looking at?
I mean, the burn cards coming out, they're pretty standard across the board. We're actually seeing Ronin pick up a lot more coordinated cards, but again, their cards really suggest that they should be doing better on these points fights. They've gotten nimble so they can get to those points faster, and trying to just do better around the point. Cooldown, of course, on DatOneGoat, which is the Chronos. That'll help him out with his barricades, of course. And a few wreckers picked up to try and deal with Graham and wizdude and Mike Man with their shields, but it's just not really working out. And again, they're doing so well on these defenses because their composition just helps them out so much with it. Aeido, look, just sat in the base. 1 tap, 2 tap, always firing away, getting that damage off, helping his team out. And Igloo was possibly the point where it was going to get better for him, but even then, still just not able to do enough because the Knessa just cannot have as much as an impact on the point fights.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Knessa. I mean, you're talking about a pro player. I mean, this is why I get a little upset when I see Knessa on my team sometimes in Siege and just pick up games, because it's like, you know, it's so hard to play this character well. Like, I understand, you know, all characters need to be played and should be fun, but it's very hard to have a successful point fight with a Knessa that is not fully coordinated with their team, does not have full peel, full communication, and you're just seeing it here, even at a pro level, having a very hard time having that, an effect.
I mean, the difference I think we've seen Knessa picked up a lot on Temple Ruins. It's kind of become the meta that EU were running last week. Knessa was being picked up. We saw Cassie a lot as well on Temple Ruins. And I think that was actually a lot due to actually double Immortals coming out on the point. There's the Ice Storm and the Mega Turret. Aeido and Bolture, they pick up the kills and come ahead. Shindu pops the Hexafire as well, picking up 1. And it looks like the side of Zenith Black all getting wiped out there on that defense. But yeah, as I was saying, it's just We see the Kinessa on to Temple Ruins a lot more, as well as the Cassie, because the range kind of lends itself to that map with the point fights, with how the line of sights work. You see, you have the high ground around the temple area on the left side. The middle area has a long line of sights, and then of course you've got canyon on the right side near the bases, and that is basically just a huge open area, and they all lend themselves to that Kinessa on the point fights as well as on the defense, whereas Glacier Keep just doesn't seem to do as well.
Right, right. You see a lot more close encounters, a lot less room to wiggle, so to speak, in terms of the Kinessa when she does get in trouble. Not as much use of the ledges because, the transporter can get you up there sometimes, but a lot of these fights right here, it's not too hard to get on and off a ledge in this map right now, so definitely not at an advantage. But Graham, seeing himself take down Shindu on the Ruckus, who had been, I believe, on a 7 streak, DatOneGoat going down as well. Advantage now to Team Zenith Black, which we've seen over and over again. Bolture coming in, trying to do something about it, but the turret too strong, and he's going to be basically pushed back by Barrack and his turret, and a little bit of support from the Pip. Now, is this something you see quite a bit? Because this is what I've been noticing. They keep like Barrack and Pip, and then they send 3. But they usually I'm seeing Barrack and Pip hold the point while the 3 go to aggress, while they're kind of getting that like forward aggression disruption for the enemy team trying to re-aggress onto the point. Is that some type of strategy we're seeing that a lot of these teams are using?
We see that a lot because the teams like to have those just roaming together. Of course, the barricade working so well with just allowing Pip to sit behind it and just lob those grenades over. And it's working out, especially when you have the chicken to just stall out time for the rest of your team to get there. And Aeido, he's been doing worse on these point fights, but actually this point fight's still not gone down from that last defense. He's on a 10 streak just as he does fall. Immortal does get popped on the side of Zenith Black, keeping everyone up. Hexafire from Shindu, though, after it's come down, does manage to pick up 1 kill, but goes down himself. Trades coming through, but there's a great chicken from the side of Ronin. That's 2 people chicken. There goes Pip taken down. SnakeySnake does find the kill, but he gets taken down too.
Huge fight by Ronin to get themselves back into this game. It's 5-6, and now they've got an opportunity to go ahead and really make themselves known in this battle, potentially evening it up and taking a even score into the next round, which could really be the game sealer for these 2 teams. Nice play by Ronin, and again, shouting out Swordcraft for a really nice evil mojo onto the 2 remaining targets defending, making them just, I don't know, not cannon fodder, chicken fodder apparently, just to be able to go ahead and just get taken out with ease. It's kind of hard for a chicken to fight a man with a turret and fiery rockets, and I think who else was that? Man with the flamethrower? I mean,
it was indeed Fernando in there. And I think a big part of that last fight was that we were seeing Kinessa this time not dying early on. I mean, Aeido died right at the end there. The fight was extremely held out and long, but we saw the chase onto Aeido, and despite being chased for a good part of that fight by a lot of people, he was actually staying alive. His teammates came to help him, and they actually picked up kills on the people chasing him. So they punished that chase, the over-aggression really hard, and now we're seeing Mega Turret come out. The payload's made its way almost halfway to the point right now as the fight's still coming through. Aeido trying to do what he can with the shot. SnakeySnake's trying to get on top of him, jumping in. Aeido now on the point, on the payload, snipes out Mikeman. Despite being inside all of this action, there goes the Hexafire from wizdude. Picks up a triple kill, taking down Aeido. Now looking for that quadra kill as the Ruckus from the side of Ronin trying to get out of this one, and Shindu looks like he's going to deny that.
Yeah, it's a wild robot chase. He can't go ahead and chase Shindu. He's just going around on the side. He's not going to be found there, and it would just pull Ruckus and squad out of position. But finally, they take down Bolture on the side of Team Ronin, who had a 17 streak. And we are seeing Gather and his ability to use Nimble and Resilience being so effective and just making sure that he is not being crowd controlled at all.
Look at this, though. Shindu, he was in the back, sneaking the payload in. They just about managed to spot him out, but they send 2 back for him, and then they lose the front line fight. Swordcraft picks up a double kill. He gets taken down for it, but it's a 3 versus 4 right now. Swordcraft doing the work he needed to as the rest of the team trying to do what they can as well. Bolture gets taken down. Aeido and Shindu, though, pick up the kills they needed to. The 5 seconds left on the payload as they try to push this into overtime. Shindu last one left. He He gets knocked out last second, though, and the defense doesn't go through into overtime.
Yeah, and Bolture just zoned out DatOneGoat that well, picking up the kill at the very end. Fantastic play by him to bring his team that much closer, actually one capture point away from winning. A successful defense there by Zenith Black, actually by Zenith Black, and putting Ronin on their heels. What do we need to see, Tattle, coming out from Ronin right now that's going to change the fate of this first game, which looks to be potentially going in the favor of Team Zenith Black?
Just another point fight like last time. It's going to be hard to see on mines, especially here, but they need to make sure Aeido stays alive and that they punish anyone going for him. If no one goes for Aeido, he's going to do the work. He's going to get those kills. But if they go for him and take him down, then they will win this fight. There's a Hexafire and chickens coming out. Lots of damage either way. No kills just yet. However, Reviling, first one to fall on this fight. Bolture, 2v1. DatOneGoat wins the 1v1 against Mike Man in the background. And Bolture again, it's man versus man. Fernando versus Fernando. Hexafire coming down on the point, but it's all blocked out by the barricade. And Ronin start to take the advantage on this one. As Aeido, again, he's just left on his own to deal damage.
Now, there's a couple of really interesting things that happened there. That Hexafire, that was not just a team point Hexafire fired out by wizdude. That was a I want to kill Kinessa. Kinessa, Aeido relocating really well, and it looks like Ronin win this objective, but Aeido rotating really well. He saw the flank coming from SnakeySnake and just got on his mount and went to another spot, but he ran into wizdude, and that forced a Hexafire onto him and not onto the team, and that could have been the difference there. Really,
this game is going to be so close, I feel. Right now we're at 7-7 with that extra 2 points coming through. If Zenith Black can put up a defense like they did last time, I think they'll manage to defend this, and we'll go to 7-8. And it will come down to this last point fight as it comes all on to the pinnacle of the game, as Ronin look for that last 2 points from the capture point, whereas Zenith Black, they're just looking for any points whatsoever at that point.
Yeah, Zenith Black, they're just trying to give me what I can. I'll take beans. I'll take a can of beans in the street. I don't care. I just want to get my win in this game. And it looks like, you know, they have a chance. It just depends on if they're going to be able to continue to be a force, even though they have lost the capture point and now have to defend. We're going to have to see them group together. They're going to have to find their way into working as a unit and taking down Aeido and making sure that he cannot snipe from long distances with this payload push and having, I think, Graham have a big effect. Can he go ahead and really just take her out and force her away from these fights?
I tell you what, they're doing a great job in the attack right now. They have Aeido sat behind the payload, sat behind Bolture most of the time. Aeido now up on the high ground, just going to jump down to the rest of his team to support him. And the kills, they're all going in the favor of Ronin right now, as they make this attack. Mega Turret comes through. That's going to deal a lot of damage to Bolture as he finally does go down, and they lose their frontline tank on this one. But I'm loving when Ronin go for those pushes. They have Aeido on the payload, stood behind it, meaning that he can use it as cover, and then they have Bolture in front of him if they need him to put a shield up and block. But he's down right now, and they don't know what else they can do.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Listen, Aeido is who we've been talking about this entire fight, because I think when you have a Kinessa, it really does depend on how your team's success is in that game, on how well that Kinessa plays. And so far, we've seen Aeido again on a 10 streak. Remember, last 10 streak, they won the capture point, and they ended up, I believe, pushing the payload in. There's only 6 seconds left now, and this could be the end of the game unless Team Zenith Black can go ahead and defend against it. It's overtime, and all is coming down to the wire.
Aeido gets taken down. He kept them all busy inside the base for so long, but the flank did not work out for him. Bolture pops the Immortal. That's going to keep DatOneGoat alive for a few more seconds, but not for much longer as Bolture goes down himself. 1 second of overtime. Looks like Shindu pushes it over, but that's a clean wipe. And Zenith Black, they take the defense. And actually, worrying look on the ultimates right now as well coming into the next game, as Ronin do have the advantage with 2 of them, but at the same time, Graham and Mike Man, they're looking at ultimates as soon as they reach the point. It's going to be 2 ultimates, 2 ultimates. The Immortal and the Mega Turret against the Cassie ultimate, of course, against the Kinessa ultimate, of course, and the Hexafire. Yeah. And I tell you what, if that Immortal comes down to cancel out the Hexafire, then Zenith Black will take a big lead in this one.
And check this out. You've also got Swordcraft. He's at 80. I mean, that Evil Mojo will be up before Reviling's Evil Mojo. So this could be a potential 3 ultimates against 2. And it's really going to all come down to this. You see the high ground taken immediately. And the flank coming in from Shindu. The Hexafire coming out right away, trying to eliminate Barrack immediately. But the emitter shield given by the Ruckus helps to take away some of that damage. And now it's still being a fight between Swordcraft. The Evil Mojo does come out, like I mentioned, but it doesn't get a kill. This could be a problem. They don't
Only
have that big
used
team
to
fight now.
defend. Immortal is still up. Hexafire was used. DatOneGoat finds the first kill, so Ronin ahead in this one as they take down wizdude on the side. And now the rest of Ronin, they start to collapse. There goes the Mega Turret, but Mikeman, he's taken down straight away already in this one. DatOneGoat finds the kill onto Reviling. Ronin, they start to take the numbers advantage. Bolture is still running away. He's used his Immortal early on. There goes Aeido, last man left on this. Actually, no, Aeido getting into position to try and zone the rest of Zenith Black off, and they're not going to be able to get into this one very easily now.
Well, watch out, though. wizdude's ultimate comes out, the Hexafire onto Bolture, and the Fernando Immortal is still available, but it's used right now. This could be the end of the game. This could turn all of the engagements. There is not an ultimate available for quite a while for both teams. It's just going to be skill. Who can shoot the other person better? I love that that is something we can say here, and it's just a video game. I love that. This is great. We're getting the entire game based on this capture point right now, and it looks like Fernando is taking down Shindu. Actually gets the kill onto Graham and wizdude. This could be going in the flavor of Ronin now. They've just got a little bit left to go. Bolture is still alive, popping the Immortal himself. No ultimate after that, but the Barrack on the side, Mike Man on the side of Zenith Black is still alive, and Zenith Black could win, and they do. They get the game. They take down Bolture, and they win the game on Ronin. What an amazing surprise. We were not expecting this.
What a comeback
GG.
as well. They go from
GG.
losing all of the point fights to coming back after those defenses, working out what to do. You know, Aeido, props to him. He was struggling really hard in that start of the game, and then they worked out how to play around SnakeySnakes. Soon as they managed to do that, am I getting it wrong? No. Ronin lost. What am I talking about? Zenith Black took the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Zenith Black.
Zenith Black took the game. I expected Ronin to make the comeback there. I don't know what was going on in my mind. But yeah, they managed to win that point fight right at the end. I think it was that turning Immortal right at the end. That Immortal from Graham, keeping his team alive, pushing through. You know, Shindu, he picked up that double right at the end. I thought to myself, Ronin have got this. They just need to push through. But they split up. Shindu and Bolture went either way. Bolture going for the point. Shindu falling back, low health. And they chased him down, took him out. And Bolture, last man left standing, is Fernando. I mean, you have the last man standing card, but I don't think it's best to be on your own there at the end. And he gets taken down too.
I mean, to me, wizdude's ultimate was really, really nicely placed. I mean, seeing wizdude's Hexafire come out and just kind of force Bolture back and really force, I believe it was also Shindu. Actually, it might have been DatOneGoat or it was Shindu who were fighting on the point with him. His Hexafire was literally used like point blank range. We've seen a lot of questionable Hexafires, but that one, I think, really turned the fight because it was so much damage. It just took off so much HP, even for Fernando, who's going to have about 5,600 HP at this point, is going to get devastated by that Hexafire if he stands near there. And he did.
I tell you what, look at those numbers on the shielding. 228k on Mikeman. I think that is the highest shielding we have ever seen this weekend. We saw 208k, I think, was broken right at the end by a Barrack in yesterday's finals with Fate versus Team Q. But 228k, that takes the record right there.
Yeah, man, I love that. Mike, man, that's the most shielding we've ever seen this entire weekend. It's like, that's the most shielding we've ever seen in this entire last capture point of this last game between Ronin and Zenith Black. I really appreciate all that shielding. No, Mike Man did a great job, and I apologize, Mike Man. I've been saying your name, Mick Man, this entire time. So, Mike Man, formal apology out to you. Really good shielding.
I don't even know if it's Mike Man or Mick Man.
I don't know which one it is, but he'll probably correct us. Somebody can correct us.
This is the caster's curse, and whichever one we go for, it'll 100% be wrong.
Exactly. So, you know, we're seeing this be a really amazing showcase of Zenith Black, like playing some really hard games. I mean, Identity Crisis, right? They were there, and they were taken advantage of on these capture points in the early parts of the games in that set. but they ended up making an adjustment. They ended up getting themselves back together and utilizing their ultimates in smarter ways, working together as a team, and ultimately taking that huge point capture advantage from Identity Crisis back into their hands. And now we're seeing it play in these final moments where it's back and forth, last man standing. I mean, it's literally coming down to the wire against a very good team, maybe the favorite here, Ronin, and we're seeing Zenith Black go ahead and be just so effective in these close scenarios. I have to say, it's probably something to do with that last game that they played.
Ronin definitely coming in as the favors for this week. Zenith Black, props to them this week. They've come in, they've had close games, close series all the way through up until this point, and I was honestly putting all my marbles onto Ronin on this one. They are the favorites coming in. The only team really in my mind was coming up to push them, like maybe come up against them in the finals. If it was a team, it was going to be Zenith Black. But we've seen time and time again the past 3 weeks. Every time we've heard people say in scrims, Zenith Black, they're the team to watch. They're the team that will take the games if you're not careful. And every time we see them play, we saw them 2-0s. They'd get knocked out like straight away. It was mind-boggling to see all these rumors I was hearing of Zenith Black. They're the team to watch. They've got some real skill on them, and I was worried for them coming in 2-1s in the series coming up to this. Sure. Really worried for them, but I tell you what, they seem to be showing it.
Yep. And it looks like they're being a very, very effective team now. I mean, sometimes, you hear these things about players and they don't necessarily showcase it the first time you see them, but you got to understand, I mean, that's being said for a reason, right? They're being said, hey, watch out for these guys for a reason. So they've showed their potential. Now they're showing it here. We'll see in a moment if they can keep showing it against one of the top, probably the favored team to win NA this week, Ronin, in this second game. If they can go ahead and claim it, they will move on to the grand finals, I believe, and be able to take on the winners from the losers bracket. So a lot of things hang in the balance in this next game. So don't go anywhere. Stay in your seats, keep your computers on, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and champions of the realm. My name is Rainday, and today we'll be taking you through Game 2 of this set between Ronin and Zenith Black. A very good set we've seen so far, extremely competitive, and now we're on Temple Ruin. So excited to see this new map and a couple character changes. wizdude on the side of Zenith Black will be onto the Ruckus, Mike Man onto Barrack, Graham onto the Fernando, SnakeySnake on Eevee and Reviling onto Pip, whereas on the side of Ronin, we'll be seeing Swordcraft on Pip, Shindu on Ruckus, Aeido onto Androxus instead of the Kinessa, Bolture onto Fernando, and DatOneGoat onto the Barrack, as I'm joined with my co-commentator again this game, Tattle.
This is such mind-boggling picks to me. I just don't. I find it odd that we see Kinessa on Glacier Keep, and then we come to Temple Ruins, which for EU has definitely been the Kinessa map meta, and we don't see her at all this time. But point fight coming out, no kills either way, but Aeido, he's going really aggressive, trying to find the kills with that Androxus. The rest of the team, they're going to turn around to him. And it's actually Bolture who finds the first kill. Aeido gets taken down for his aggressive positioning there, and they trade 1-for-1 right now. Bolture's got to be careful here, though.
Yeah, they really do. There are a couple members on both sides of the teams in some streakage, so they're getting a few kills back and forth there. Nobody taking a strong advantage. Points 16 to 41, and no one yet on the capture point again. However, on the right-hand side, you will see it looks like Swordcraft and Squad stepping onto that point, making sure that they continue to get some progress towards their ultimate goal, which is getting to 100 and getting that payload secured and able to push. And I don't see any contest right now able to come out. That should be 2 points on the side of Ronin to take it for a nice clean start into this second game.
No contestation, because Aeido is so far forwards. They have all 4 members trying to kill him. They eventually take him down, but the reflect just means that they're able to keep them busy for so long that they get the point for basically free. Shindu does pick up the kill onto wizdude. He's getting chased down now, but he'll make it out. DatOneGoat now in danger as the rest of the team. They start to collapse on him, but again, no kill comes through. Shindu and Swordcraft, they pick up the kills, despite Shindu being so low. And it looks like Zenith Black just not able to convert that damage into the meaningful kills.
Yeah, Ronin doing a great job. And, you see Swordcraft just kind of walking by, a little Pip just doing his little hoppy step there right next to the payload. Nobody really messing with him, and they're almost at the base. I mean, these maps being changed has made such a difference in bringing them into the competitive scene because after just one successful fight, you're pretty much at the enemy team's base. I mean, in my opinion, they might be even a little too close at this point, but it definitely does make for some exciting and meaningful battles here and some serious choke points, which you're going to have to defend against. So Shindu taking out wizdude, and it looks like the payload is still moving a bit, but an accursed arm comes out from Aeido, taking down Mike Man, and Shindu, however, taking down Graham. So the defense looks like it could be suffering here if this continues to go that way. The payload being pushed, Zenith Black having less and less of an option in terms of how do they defend this, and less of team members being able to defend this as well.
Mega turret comes out as DatOneGoat picks up Reviling, trying to clean out DatOneGoat as well, pushing that one forward, trying to get the kills they need. There's the Immortal from Graham, but Immortal comes out on the other side. That's going to cancel out all of that damage coming through. Mike Man gets taken down. Shindu picks that one up. wizdude finally finds a return kill, but Shindu, he finds the double. That's the payload going through. And I just want to point out, the burn cards we saw that last round, I think, had such a big impact. We had resilience on all 5 members of Ronin. SnakeySnake was not able to freeze anyone with that frigid field. On top of that, we had 4 gathers coming out. So all of Ronin, they're finding the kills, and they're keeping themselves alive with that huge health boost from gather, and really, really pays out for them in that first fight.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a bait, Tattle, because pretty much what happens is next round, SnakeySnake is, and as we're looking at the burn cards right now and the actual loadouts, he switched it up like he did the last set. He actually baited by staying with that frigid field the entire time. He baited them all to pick resiliences, and now he doesn't even have that loadout. So it's going to be completely almost ineffective there, especially since Pip's damage, actually his Evil Mojo still applies, even though people have resilience and other cards like that. The only thing that will get you out of Pip's ultimate now is a CC immune ult, such as Ruckus's Hexafire. So you're not going to be able to use resilience to combat that Evil Mojo. So they really just baited that pick, and we've seen it be very impressive for Team Zenith Black.
I tell you what, baited it, but I don't know how much it really matters at this point. Some of the members of Zenith Black are behind in cards now from losing that last payload and the conversion. And the side of Ronin really putting that to their advantage as well, getting those ultimates off that they needed to. But Zenith Black, they're starting to make a push that they need. Mike Man gets taken down just on the point, however. There's a great double chicken coming out from Swordcraft. That's 2 kills, a clean wipe for Ronin. They're wanting to find this last kill. Graham does make his way back to base, running for the hills on his mount, but he's the last man left standing. And Ronin, they're already pushing straight into the base of Zenith Black. They're not giving it any time to breathe.
Yep, they've got Pip again just gallivanting, just, walking cheerily with the payload as all members of Ronin go ahead and aggress with full intentions to kill the team members of Zenith Black before there's even a possibility for them to get near the payload and stop the push. And let's talk about Shindu, who was on a 17 streak. And now Bolture on a 13 streak still. I mean, they've got to shut some of these characters down. Otherwise, it starts to be tunnel vision, right? You see that person on a 17 streak, 13 streak, you're like, okay, let's just kill the Ruckus. Let's just kill the Fernando. But then you don't necessarily make the right plays. I mean, that could be very, very good in terms of the mental battle that Ronin is kind of playing right now against Zenith Black.
I tell you what, they did get the shutdown, though. That's going to give them a lot of credit. The side of Ronin all starting to build up their ultimates right now. 1 minute 20 seconds remaining on this payload as it's still inching ever closer every now and then. Will Ronin hold on to their ultimates for this next point, however? That's the big question coming through.
Right.
Or are they going to burn them all to make one last push and push this game ever closer and make it an 8-point lead?
I think so. I think they're going to burn them, Tattle, because you know what? It's like, if you win, you get 8, you're at 8. I mean, all you have to do is defend once. I mean, 8-0, that's pretty much for a team of Ronin's caliber. That's a guaranteed win. They've got to put everything into this payload push, I think. Otherwise, they're not taking advantage of potentially, just ending this game. I mean, if they let Zenith Black get this capture, I mean, it could go a different way.
I tell you what they did. The Mega Turret was popped there as well as the Immortal. Wiped out 3 members of Zenith Black who all had their ultimates ready and weren't able to use it. wizdude, though, with a Hexafire, he picks up a triple kill. Reversal comes through. Aeido not able to pick that up, but he's the last one left standing. Great Hexafire wipes them all out. And the side of Zenith Black still waiting on 3 ultimates to the 3 ultimates of Ronin. They're matching it out as 12 seconds left on the payload. The side of Ronin need to make it on to push this into overtime. Bolture looks like he'll make it there in time. Shindu's with him. wizdude gets taken down. Bolture taken down. There's no one on the payload. It doesn't go through.
Now, that was just positioning, right? Because they actually could have kept that into overtime, and they had people coming back to join the fight. But it looked like Shindu actually went on to try and get a kill onto Zenith Black. I'm not exactly sure which character he was attacking, but he left the payload radius, and therefore overtime ticked down, and that was it.
Mega Turret came through from Mike Man right there at the end, however, to try and push the players off the payload. I mean, it worked. They got that point, and they got the momentum hopefully coming through from this. But now they're down on the Mega Turrets, 3 ultimates to 2.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, you know. I mean, looking at such an effective ultimate, it's important to be kind of up in terms of these key game fight potential, huge damage ultimates when you're going and aggressing onto these points, especially when you need them. Graham looking to try and get some focus onto the point, get a couple of points. They get 18 for their team, and actually it's going to be a little bit more, so not a bad strategy, but then he's going to get totally picked off here. Reviling coming in from the side, forcing Shindu actually to get off of focusing Graham, and that's helpful, but on the backside, you've got Swordcraft just putting some potions onto Graham, Graham, and it's just gonna eliminate him after a while. It looks like actually Shindu gets the kill. DatOneGoat takes down SnakeySnake, and this isn't looking good for Zenith Black. Tattle.
The focus is just so much better on the side of Ronin right now, working together as a team. We saw the Hexafire and the Cursed Arm come out, only find 1 kill each, but that's all they needed to do. Once you get that man advantage right now, if you focus correctly as a team, you start to get it. But there's a flank coming right now onto the point. Aeido jumps out, Mega Turret is popped, it's all being blocked out, however. Immortal popped by Bolture, keeping his teammates alive in this one. Shindu and DatOneGoat, they find the kills they need. Chicken comes out, but it's not going to help. DatOneGoat finds Graham too. Payload is captured with the members of Zenith Black stood just off of the point.
We're seeing these points go by way of just people stepping off of where they need to step off. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter, but it's definitely important. I mean, if you're fighting and you're trying to get the right spacing and you're trying to juke somebody out, but you step off that point, I mean, these are the things you have to be aware of as a pro in this level of competitive game that you just can't do. You cannot prioritize staying alive or doing that when you can bait your time for your teammates to help support you and you step off the capture point. Gotta be very aware of those types of things as the payload is being pushed again by Ronin, and I know they want to end this game right now.
Hexafire comes out from wizdude. Poor timing, however. Great barricade comes down and just shuts him down instantly. Shindu picks up that kill, and they're still pushing this payload ever forwards. SnakeySnake does manage to take out Aeido on the back, and Graham finally picking up the kill. Is he running Horse Nando?
Horse Nando? He might be.
I mean, I just saw him run through someone with a horse rather than do anything. Actually, we see a triple kill come out from SnakeySnake too, so a lot of work being done right now by SnakeySnakes and Graham to carry their team forwards on this defense.
Yeah, he is running start, which is going to give him that 30% movement speed for 3 seconds upon dismounting, but that shouldn't really affect how he's doing with that horse. Interesting. I'm not sure what we were looking at there.
He's going for the shields on his horse, as well as the that's from the insurmountable, as well as a lot of damage with his charge. So he's gonna run straight in on that horse, dismount. As soon as he dismounts, charge straight through the player's face and just take them out. Meanwhile, though, actually on the payload, Cursed Arm comes out from Aeido. He managed to pick up the kill that they need. 2 members down on the side of Zenith Black. Ronin pushing forwards onto the battlements. They're trying to find the kills they need. wizdude's the next to fall. Aeido picks up the double kill. Just Bolture left on this one. Hexafire is popped. Mike Man makes it back in time to help shield that out. And Shindu gets taken down for his aggressive play. The rest of the team now respawning, trying to make their way and hold this one as we come down to 10 seconds remaining. Chicken comes down from the side of Ronin. Swordcraft popping that. That's going to find the kills they need. And Ronin they take the second game.
Yeah, that's a nice play by Ronin. Convincing win, I would say, and a really good performance by that team to make the adjustment after last game, after having such a close fight between Zenith Black. Of course, they made the switch from Knessa to, I believe it was Androxus, and that probably made all of the difference here. Aeido looking to feel a lot more comfortable, died significantly less, I believe, than on the Knessa, although he still does die 7 times the highest out of his team. I think he felt more comfortable in terms of supporting his teammates in the important capture point fights, rather than, Knessa, who really has this kind of single utility for what she can do. I believe Aeido, and let me know what your thoughts are, Tattle, was able to be a little bit more effective and help his group secure those capture points, which we saw really kind of go uncontested to the way of Team Ronin.
Really, Aeido just shining through there. I know I mentioned it was odd to see him move off of that Knessa on a map like this, but he went for more of that aggressive style pick, went for that carry, that hard carry role, and it definitely was working out for him. It was causing so much chaos in the front lines, distracting the team. That first point fight that we saw was almost uncontested at the second half because Aeido was holding 4 of them his own, using that reflect to just keep the damage stalled and keep the side of Zenith Black busy whilst Ronin just take the point.
Now, what do you have to say? What are your thoughts on Mike Man's performance here? You're looking at Team Zenith Black. They had a lot of things going for them in the first game, and things seem to be turning out well. But then all of a sudden, you see Mike Man here, and he's far and beyond pretty much the average of his team in terms of credits. But not only that, he's got 14 kills to his name, deaths to his name, and only 1 kill and only 4 assists. Does he need to step it up? Does he need to change his build? What needs to happen with Mike Man in this next game so that they have more of an even playing field when they go into these 5v5 point fights?
I think this is really just Aeido just focusing down the people he needs to. SnakeySnake was on Aeido most of the time, trying to shut him down, trying to keep Mikeman safe, but he's not able to. And so DatOneGoat, he's left on his own because SnakeySnake, for once, isn't trying to dive him. He isn't busy. He's actually busy with Aeido. And Mikeman, poor guy, he just gets shut down. Aeido is all over that one. We saw last game, 228k, 83k this time because he's dead almost all of the game. Aeido just not letting him get into position at all. Most of the time we saw him run onto the point. As soon as he gets to the point, just goes flying off of it, smacked right down as the rest of the team like Bolture and Shindu just gun him down.
Yeah, Shindu super effective on that ruckus. They're going to have to put an end to that if Team Zenith Black wants a chance at taking this games and set over Team Ronin, who have somehow found their rhythm, conjured the magic up together, and are able to go ahead and take game 2 in this best of 3 set. We'll see who wins the final game right after this on Enchanted Forest, I believe. So stay where you are, don't go anywhere, and we'll be back with you guys for this 3rd game of this incredibly exciting set in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, champions of the realm. My name is Rain Day, and of course I'm joined by my co-commentator Tattle today in this amazing series between Ronin and Zenith Black. I'm excited to introduce both of the teams to you. On the left-hand side, you'll see Ronin, Shindu playing Ruckus, Swordcraft on the Pip, Aeido onto the Androxus, Bolture on the Fernando, and DatOneGoat playing on the Barrack. Now on the side of Zenith Black, we've got wizdude onto Ruckus, Mike Man on the Barrack, Graham onto the Fernando, Reviling onto the Pip, and SnakeySnake bringing it in onto the Eevee. Looking like it's going to be a close game, huh, Tattle?
What amazing series so far, and I love this as well. Burn cards right at the start. SnakeySnake wasn't even hovered over the frigid field for most of the time. They still pick up 4 resiliencies against him. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes, as it's actually Ronin who pick up the first kill with a great flank.
Yeah, Shindu keeps his winning ways, streaking it himself, getting 1 kill to start this game, and just being so effective last game. I think they're going to have to shut him down, Tattle, if they want any chance of really capturing this point, and of course capturing this game to put them into the position of winning this tournament.
I tell you what, they're all just moving as a unit right now. Swordcraft picks up a double kill in the back there, taking down SnakeySnake, who was on DatOneGoat. Bolture finds a kill onto Mike Man as well. An advantage goes in Ronin's favor as they move as a 5-man unit, push through, and they just find the kills they need to.
Yeah, I mean, DatOneGoat has a 2 streak, but he just died. I'm trying to figure out if his turrets got the kills or something. I don't know. maybe it was some excellent turret placement.
I think
that
he
did that
died,
for him.
but then 2 people died right afterwards, so he got the assists for them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's what it must be. And seems like Team Ronin just working together so well. The point's still not secured, though. Aeido is, however, doing much better on this Androxus, as we've seen, rather than the Kinessa in the earlier game that they lost to Zenith Black.
What a chicken coming out there. Shindu picks up a double Aeido with the extra kill as well there, and the Pip left running for the hills. Great play.
Yeah, nice chicken. Nice chicken. I got to say, that's a very strong ultimate that's been buffed so that it makes sure that it lasts for 2 seconds no matter what. So you used to be able to use cards like Resilience or even Grok when he had his healing totem to be able to buff that, so there was 100% CC reduction. And now we're seeing Pip just, again, he was already meta, just cementing that by making sure that his evil mojo does affect people for at least 2 seconds, no matter what cards, what build you have going on.
Yeah, and right now, Payload is getting pushed up as the teams, they're trying to fight for this high ground control on this new tree area that we're seeing here. Fight does break out on the Payload, and it looks like Zenith Black, they're starting to take the advantage of it. Bolture, last one left on it, with DatOneGoat trying to do what he can. Aeido does manage to pick up Mike in the back, and the rest of the team to try and support their teammates on the Payload, but it might be too late.
Yeah, nice plays by Graham, picking up DatOneGoat as well. Bolture and Fernando on the other side. Graham going ahead, trying to fight each other, but Reviling helps to take out Bolture. And Aeido gets a kill on the Reviling with wizdude, securing Aeido there.
What a cursed arm to take down Reviling there. wizdude does shoot him out of the air before he can do any more damage. The Immortal comes out, but it's kind of not used because cursed arm was already cancelled from the kill. And right now, Ronin just being held in this choke point so well and so far from the base as well.
Well, this is a very dangerous choke point because Pip can basically stand up on the top of the castle entrance there on the left-hand side and just shoot down really easily. It's very hard to contest or focus your fire there because you've got to push the payload. And so the essence of Pip is really just brought to life. But it looks like Aeido sees what I'm talking about, goes ahead and Nether steps up there. But Pip forced an evil mojo onto Aeido. That was a curious evil mojo there. He must have felt really in danger. Usually that's a team fight ultimate we're seeing just be used on one player. It does save his life, though. But what do you think about not having that in any future team engagements?
Saves his life, so it might be worth it, especially with how much work that that's doing right now. Reviling is really holding this point down, using that high ground so well, able to weightless away, and basically Aeido's the only one who can shut him down and chase after him right now. So if he can just stay alive and have no threat onto him, then he can just keep firing down onto this payload, keep it held.
Exactly. So he's like, you know what? It doesn't matter if I use my ultimate. If I stay alive and can continue what I'm doing, I don't need an ultimate. I could do way more damage here just being where I am and staying alive and not letting my DPS and my whole team's DPS drop down quite a bit by having to go back in base and letting them push it past this crucial choke point that they've kept it in. But now, it looks like some dangerous stuff is going down. It looks like they've got a chance to go ahead. Aeido's still the only one left. I thought they were going to maybe make a comeback, but Fernando and squad on team, they're going to stop this one right here. It's a good defense there by Zenith Black.
SnakeySnake shuts it down hard. And we were saying, this Pip ultimate, the evil mojo is so important for their team fights. Well, look, he's at 96 already. He dealt so much damage in that defense that he already has it back up for this next team fight.
Wow. And so it's maybe a calculated play. Maybe he says, you know what, if I stay alive here, I get the evil mojo off, but I also have it for the next important engagement, which is this capture point. So very excited to see how they handle this one.
And that is so important. The thing we see a lot of players do in the mid to lower tiers is hold on to their ultimates sometimes. You're looking for that huge chicken, the big play to win the game. But sometimes doing that will just mean you're at a disadvantage for not using your ultimate. So it's good to see the players using them aggressively.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, that's what it's there for. A lot of times in other games that I play Smite, you have items that can get you out of trouble, but you won't want to use them because you feel like, I'm not in that much trouble. I don't want to use this special thing. But you know what? Sometimes that's what they're there for. It's meant to get you out of trouble. It's meant to turn a 1v1 or a team fight. And you see here, it just being so effective for Reviling, who is still, I think, somehow staying alive, but actually gets taken down there by Bolture, who's been pursuing him. And this one's going to go to Ronin, it looks like, unless
this time
Black.
Ronin, and they get the ults combo off first. All of Zenith Black head into that corridor next to the point. The mega turret's popped. No shield on that. At the same time, Hexafire's popped from the other side. You can't block both directions at the same time, and Ronin, they cleaned that point fight up, but the fight's coming back. There's the Immortal onto the point, going to keep all his team alive, but there's no real damage coming back. There's no Hexafire, there's no Mega Turret, and both of them get knocked out. Point control, that goes over to the side of Ronin once again.
I mean, you see great tactics, though, coming out. You know, Eevee blinks in and freezes herself, right? And she uses the time to allow Ruckus to hover in and buy time for Fernando to then come in and pop the Immortal. I mean, they made that a fight at 99 when it was almost surely Ronin's game. And so still seeing very good team fight tactics coming out from Zenith Black. It's just not working because Aeido was able to hover up in the air with his Nether Step, shoot down, and just force Ruckus off that point, who was causing so much damage. And then that just sealed the deal for Ronin. 4-1.
And all of the ultimates up right now for the side of Ronin. Aeido, the only one who doesn't have that cursed arm, and it's going to show soon. Swordcraft picks up a double kill. That's 2 members down on the side of Zenith back on this defense. And this is the thing. We see Reviling over to the side. He's back in his good position, but it's coming from the other side of the map. The payload is so much further away. He can't get those good arc shots off. And Shindu, he's going to force him away from that position as well. As the rest of the team, they let some pressure off the payload and try and find those targets that they need.
Yeah, Barrick right behind that payload, trying to find himself there, but he does go down. DatOneGoat takes out Mike Man, but he is still alive, looking to stay behind that parrot, shepherding it again on his famous Grok. We saw him do so well at this, but now on Barrick, seems like the characters don't really matter. His role has been the same and being very effective here on his squad. 13 streak, by the way. Only 2 less than Shindu, who is again on a 15 streak. I mean, Tattle, how do they shut this guy down? How do you shut down a Ruckus?
You just need to get the focus onto him. The issue is that he's just being allowed to get those Hexafires off so well when there is so much to counter it. You've got the shield from Graham, the Immortal if it's there, the barricade as well. Any of these in the face of that Ruckus will shut him straight down. The issue is the rest of Ronin, they're making the side of Zenith back use those cooldowns early from the amount of threat they're putting out.
Correct. Who can get, basically it's a battle of, it's a mind game, right? Who can get their cooldowns to be basically reserved for the most important point? Who can kind of bait someone into using them?
There was barricade already used, so that's going to be down in a second. And Fernando now, it's just him left who can block this Hexafire when it comes out from Shindu. Shindu doesn't even need to use it at this point, it seems, as he picks up 1 kill already. wizdude does respond on his Ruckus and starts to pop the Hexafire, both of them in the face of each other, but the Immortal comes out from Bolture, and they're going to win that one easily. Shindu picks up the kill there. They manage to pick Shindu up in the end, but they're going to wipe the rest of the team out here, it seems.
And it looks like they do get Shindu, though, and that is a big credit switch. It also stops the momentum that he's had, but still, DatOneGoat, 17 streak. You look at Swordcraft, 16 streak. Bolture, 17 streak. DatOneGoat put that one up to 18 now. This is just a massacre on the side of Team Ronin over to Zenith Black, and man, they are looking strong. This is the Ronin we know. This is the Ronin we expected to see at the very beginning of this game, and now we're seeing it.
And what a changed team. We were saying, I was saying in the first game how they weren't coordinating their ultimates at all. We saw some of the, some great coordination there. The Immortal popped just as both Hexafires go down, and Bolture blocking out all of that Mega Turret as well. And this is just a completely different team from the first game, where we just saw lack of coordination coming through from these guys.
Yeah, and I think, we put it back onto Aeido being so much more effective here. Not even so. I mean, Aeido's been, I think, one of the quieter ones. I mean, his play has not been one of streaks, one of kills, one of stats. It has been one of energy. It has been one of him feeling a lot better on this character, impacting the game a lot more, freeing up players like Shindu and Bolture and DatOneGoat to be that much more effective because they now have the extra pressure of an Androxus, right? Versus a Kinessa who is not involved on the points except from a distance. So it's been huge. It's been a huge shift.
Yeah, and now ultimates start to come up. They're again in this difficult position where pushing this payload is such a pain right now with the positions they've got. Look at that. Aeido going very aggressive, trying to do what he can and force Pip out. Swordcraft finds the kill onto Graham, who goes too aggressive in the back. And this is what I like to see. They're not pushing this payload until they're certain they can do it. They're letting the side of Zenith into them. Hexafire is popped from wizdude. He snipes Aeido out of the air. That's the kill he needed. Eric 1v1 on the point right now. Swordcraft picks up a triple kill with that one, I think.
Ouch, and it's a 22 streak as well from him, having both Nimble, having blast shields, and Wrecker, so he's going to be destroying those shields quite easily, double damage onto those shields, and I don't think Pip needs any more damage, to be honest.
And I
he's
think
also got...
Wrecker should be on more of the members of Ronin for sure. I think Aeido would definitely benefit from it right now. I mean, DatOneGoat and Bolture, definitely not the ones who are looking for that Wrecker, but on the side of Ronin, I think Aeido would benefit a lot from it as well.
Now,
It's really showing for Shindu and Swordcraft, though.
Do you think he'd benefit from that more so than Deft Hands, which he's picked up? We don't see that all the time, increasing your reload speed by 50%. What do you think that's about? I mean, he seems to prefer that. I've seen him pick that up on Kinessa as well.
It does allow him, especially with Androxus, to get that quick fire, the rapid fire, you know.
Right.
Instantly getting those 3 shots off allows him to duel people extremely well, which might be what he's looking for here. Going for that Pip would make a lot of sense. But again, there's just so much shielding coming out from this team. And actually, this looks like it might be it. Shindu and Swordcraft find the kills. It's 5 seconds countdown. Will go into overtime just off of the point right now. Great chicken comes through from Reviling. He picks up Goat. Shindu finds the kill they need. And that's the kill they need to push it through. The payload goes in. And Ronin, they take the series.
It may have been overtime, but let me tell you what. Ronin makes sure that Zenith Black's time is over in this tournament, and you see unbelievable performances coming out from so many of the members on Team Ronin, and especially, I have to shout this out, I mean, 32 streak by Swordcraft, 1,946 points, 18 kills, 5 deaths only, and 24 assists with 50,000 damage on top of that. Swordcraft, my MVP for Team Ronin, especially since I mean, I don't even think I've seen a kill streak that large this weekend, let alone the last couple of weekends, but just the fact that he's able to impact his team so well and still stay so safe as a squishy character lets me know that he is playing Pip to perfection. That is how you need to be with Pip. He has the tools, but rarely do people use them so effectively to do the damage and then not die almost at all in comparison to his other teammates or the enemy team. That's what stood out for me, Tattle. But for you, what really sparked your interest? What do you think changed the game? What was the keystone, for your opinion, that made Ronin able to go ahead and secure this last game and put them into the grand finals?
I mean, you look at Swordcraft, the consistent play over the whole series. It is great to see players play consistently. But what I love is the players adapting. We saw Aeido, of course, he changed. He's the obvious one here, right? He changed from that Kinessa to that Androxus, and things changed rapidly from there. But I think the unsung hero, as far as adapting his play and changing how things were going, is actually DatOneGoat. His performance in the first game wasn't great. He wasn't getting that much impact coming out, not as much shielding, you know, wasn't able to do much damage. Second game, doing a lot better. And then third game, of course, he's shielding 85k there. He's got 27 assists, as well as 52k. He actually did almost the most damage in the game. Just below a Ruckus of all people. And Shindu was a monster this game as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're changing the categories of these characters, right? So that fighters are characters like Ruckus and Buck, and allowing them to basically be in the category of, hey, I do a ton of damage, I do damage, but I don't do so much damage, but I'm survivable, but I'm not super survivable. I don't know. Yeah. Is Ruckus in a place where he's actually kind of doing more damage than his class should allow him to be doing?
Ruckus right now, the thing with Ruckus is that Hexafire just does so much damage. We're seeing a lot of the Ruckus picks pick up that proximity card, the speciality for proximity, just to get that extra damage in after he's moved from more of a support role. We saw him move from Projector into this gunship, and now everyone's just playing this Ruckus for this hard-hitting carry, the one that just gets up in your face. So I definitely think he fits that fighter role right now. He's up in your face, he's going for the kills, but I do think he does provide a bit too much damage and a
Right.
bit less health for what he should really do. I think, maybe tuning those a bit might be nice, but I like the way that he forces teams to play around him, especially.
Mhm.
That's what I think the fighter class should be bringing. You're forcing the team to play around you. The support, we've got DatOneGoat on the barrack. They're kind of the unsung heroes, doing
Mhm.
that much damage and shielding and the amount of assists, despite not being the one picking up all of those kills. Great support role there. And then
Right.
you've got things like, of course, Bolture on that Fernando. You're looking at the tank pick, 29k shielded, not too much, but he's just that huge meat shield at the front.
Right. And you see, characters in that fighter role like Buck, have more of a utility type of, self-buffing or team buffing ultimate, whereas they can do a little bit of damage. Maybe they'll have take reduced damage or do that. But Ruckus just has a literally like, I'm going to bring 8,000 shotguns and machine guns and rocket launchers to a knife fight, right? He has a full damage ultimate for somebody supposed to be in that kind of middle pack. So interesting. It's an interesting thought process, and just looking at him be so effectively used because he's got the high health, because he's got the shield, but then leading the damage charts as well. Interesting how they're kind of labeling these characters now. I wonder if they'll see any adjustments to him or the class specifications for him in the
Yeah.
future. Although Shindu, I mean, can probably make a lot of these characters top damage, in my opinion. Last
And
final thoughts that you might have, Tattle, just looking at the scoreboard. I mean, shout outs to both of these teams doing so well. Any other thing you want to mention?
this is why I love this double elimination. Actually, the fact that we see these two teams in the semifinals right now, and they're very much coming in as the strongest two teams. Zenith
Hmm.
Black, they're not out of it yet. They'll be going into the losers bracket now. And
Right.
if they fight their way through against, I think it's a team they've faced already, I
Probably Identity
believe.
Crisis.
Identity Crisis. They'll be going up against Identity Crisis again. If they can pull it through in that one once more, they'll be going up against Ronin again. And,
Yeah.
playing that many games against a team, that is what I love to see, because when you have a sort of a best of one scenario where the teams just face each other straight out, they just come into each other and go for the kills. I feel like, they're not adapting. It's just each team coming in with their own strategy and seeing which one does better. When you have a
Right.
long series like this, I love it because you get to see which team adapts to the other one better.
Exactly. So we'll be seeing which team adapts in just a moment. I mean, stay tuned because the grand finals are not yet. We should be taking a look at the losers finals here to see who's going to face off against Team Ronin in the grand finals. If that's different, we'll let you know in the chat in just a moment. But anyways, there's going to be a great game coming up in just a moment. So stay where you guys are. Tattle and I will be back in just a moment for these next games. And I'm excited to be bringing you potentially very rematch, potentially a salty rematch. We don't know if they'll pick the same teams or some counter picks will show up, but we will be watching most likely a rematch between Identity Crisis and Zenith Black in this next game. Stay tuned, guys. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you in a bit.